All right, so my name is George. I'm CEO and founder of BitNinja, and today I'm talking with Jan from cPanel. Jan, could you please introduce yourself and the product you are working on right now?
All right, hi, I'm Jan. I'm CTO at WebPros, and today we want to talk about 360 monitoring. That's a monitoring suite that allows you to monitor the entire data center, all the servers, up to all the websites, and go deep into it and see like where you have performance problems, security problems, and get, of course, alerts for downtime.
Jan, I believe there are three very important metrics in hosting. So one is uptime, of course, the other is speed, and the third is security.
Absolutely.
How do you cover all these metrics, or what is the secret sauce?
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned exactly the three key components that users tell us, like what matters to them, what's the most important. So first of all, 360 monitoring is a tool that is now often used by cloud service providers and hosting companies that just monitor the entire data center with all the servers. So that allows already to put an agent on those servers and report important performance metrics to the 360 monitoring cloud dashboard, where you have all the metrics that you are interested in. Shows you, like, for example, memory usage, what are the top processes, is there some process on one of the servers that kind of is slowing down the server or eating up all the resources and stuff like this. The other thing is, of course, performance. Like, are there websites that are like below a certain threshold, maybe taking more than 3 seconds in the browser of the customer? Is this due to latency, network hiccups, I/O problems, or due to noisy neighbors? 360 monitoring tells you. And then the last thing is, of course, do you have any vulnerabilities or malware on your infrastructure? And this is exactly where we have this great combination, this great integration with BitNinja, where it helps you to get those insights from the experts that know exactly how to do that and deliver it straight into the 360 monitoring dashboard to give insights to the hosting companies. Yeah, maybe to add on that, 360 monitoring is not only used by service providers for their own purposes, but also sold a lot with VPS towards customers. So as a normal VPS vendor, we would just sell VPS and add monitoring on top and say, like, okay, for a few dollars more, do you want to activate monitoring, so that the clients of the service providers are secured and properly monitored as well. And then as a last step, service providers sell it by website, for example, for an e-commerce, maybe WooCommerce, who want to make sure that the orders per hour are tracked properly, and if there's a problem with the orders, then they get alerts and or understand if they have problems with their website and so on.
Yeah, you mentioned alerting. I believe when we are talking about monitoring, then alerting is also so important. So that's the mechanism for the sysadmins to wake up at night because there's some problem is happening. What is your approach for alerting?
Absolutely, yeah, and just sending an email won't be enough because who reads their emails when they are sleeping? So you need something more persistent that wakes up the sysadmin during the night and makes sure that they really act quickly. And of course, to which alert? So you need to be smart in defining those alerts in a way that you don't have false friends, false alarms, and this is what we do in the solution. So we allow really to define very fine granular alerts and say, like, okay, let the system try again a few times before really wake somebody up. And then, of course, we support like all the popular messaging systems, whether it's SMS, WhatsApp, Telegram, Ops, Genie, PagerDuty, Slack, and so on, so that we HipChat, or even call webhooks. And that is very important because sometimes you can fix problems even without waking someone up in the night. Think of if the storage is almost exhausted and is at 80% or 90% storage consumption, then instead of waking someone up, you can first try to clean up some files, remove the temp files, maybe compress the log files and rotate them and stuff like this. So this can be triggered via webhook to start a cleanup script.
So the solution not only wakes up the sysadmins if needed, but can provide automated solutions so they can keep sleeping. That's a very good feature. I believe many sysadmins will be very pleasant with it. I believe you're not only monitoring at the server level, but there's also site level monitoring built into to the product. Can you please tell a little bit more about this part of the system?
Absolutely, yeah. For site monitoring, we have actually multiple components that do that in different dense. So first of all, we have the monitoring that goes from various locations around the globe. So you can actually select from which locations you want to monitor. Because if, for example, your clients are in Sydney, then it doesn't make sense to monitor from Frankfurt or so. So you have to be really close and measure the latency in between. And you can have multiple monitoring probes that do that. It's just one click and that's it. Nothing to worry about. We operate the whole monitoring network. So that would tell you the performance and the uptime of all your websites. Now, some problems are much deeper. So it's not enough to just check if the website is there and just works. But what is if your checkout process is broken? This is what you want to know as well. And for that, you have to crawl the entire website. However, if you would have like a WooCommerce store with 2,000 products, it doesn't make sense to crawl like 2,000 sub pages and cause a lot of load on your infrastructure. Sometimes it's enough to just crawl one example product, and then you know if that works, it works for all the other 2,000 as well. So this is where with 360 monitoring, you can be very selective and smart to crawl exactly what you want to see. And then you find out what's the performance of those pages. You see if there are broken links, corrupted images, other problems, too big files, and so on. And with our specialized solution that's called Quality, we go even into Google Lighthouse scores and SEO readiness, security posture, are the SSL certificates okay? So whatever you need to know about your website.
So this is like monitoring the health of the website, and I don't know if I can say it, but there's a small sneak peek that we are also working on an integration on that level, because the website health is also only complete with security.
Absolutely.
So that's also an upcoming integration on that part. Could you please share a couple of things about what the future is bringing for the 360 monitoring, and what is on the roadmap for you now?
Sure. The thing that I'm most excited about is our WordPress performance profiler. This is already an internal beta, and this solves really one of the biggest problems in the market. WordPress sites are usually tend to be slower than normal websites, and that is because there's a database required and a lot of calls against the database. And it's not about WordPress core that's fast, but certain third-party plugins, they're just not coded well, and they do too many queries on the database with every page request, and this slows down the whole system. What we do here is not only measure the performance of the whole site, but we give deep insights in what's happening in your WordPress installation and which plugins are actually causing the slow performance and are tearing down the site. And that, with that information, we give our clients a tool where they can actually improve their site performance and get much faster websites. And the second thing that we're working on at the moment is central log monitoring, where you have one central interface and 360 monitoring, where you can really check, like, are there any patterns happening in log files, any bot attacks, for example, coming in or so, where you can see that on a central location for your entire data center or server fleet. And I think this is really convenient to have that combined with monitoring. And you can even define alerts for it.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting next feature of the platform. So is it like you install probes for log collection and then allow the users to see the log files itself, or is it like an on-site monitoring? Could you please share a couple of thoughts about these plans?
Yeah, absolutely. Since with 360 monitoring, you anyway have already an agent on the server that's reporting back all the telemetry data, then it's very easy from that service to just also connect to all the log files and stream the log file content to the server for further calculations and filtering and so on. And we just aggregate all this data, we store it. So that means also that you can keep it as an archive and delete it on the file system, and you can just search through it on a central place, no matter if you have like only 10 servers, 100 servers, or 1,000 servers connected.
That's a very interesting feature set, and something that is, I believe, was missing from the industry. So having centralized log management. Do you have any pricing for this, or is it like just the feature is being developed and not really priced yet?
Yeah, for the log monitoring part, we haven't done this yet. Some part will be included, but there has to be some price a bit, because it's quite resource intense, storing like gigabytes of data, terabytes of data, but we don't have this yet at this stage.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to our booth and having this interview. Let's make the internet safer and more available together.